So here's the new daily. What did I sell the E63 for? It is what it is, guys. I sold the car for... Hey guys, really quick before this video gets started, update on the merch. First of all, thank all of you guys who have ordered all of the new stuff. The Muscle Shirts and Muscle Cars tank, the OEM Plus shirt, and the Sullivan & Co hats. Those orders are already on the way out. Just be mindful that if you ordered something that's print on demand and something that I have here, like the hats for example, are here, you may get two separate shipments. So if you only get one thing, don't panic, the other one is on the way. Second of all, I'm still working on international shipments. So if you guys are waiting to order your international stuff, I'm just working on some stuff in Squarespace to try and make sure that I get that correct. So bear with me, I'm hoping to have that sorted out in the next couple days. I will make an announcement when that stuff is ready. Also, I am gonna be trying to clear out some of my remaining inventory of the stuff that I'm shifting to print on demand. So you 4XL, medium, small guys that are looking to get a shirt basically half off, check out the website. I'm gonna have separate sections. For example, the Brotella shirt in a 4XL or a 3XL or whatever I have left up there is gonna be massively discounted. So if you're looking to get a discounted shirt, get rid of my inventory, check it out, sullivan-co.com. Now, let's get into the video. Coffee in hand. Hello, ladies.
Hello, ladies.
Well, unfortunately, it's the end of the road for the E63, at least on this channel. This is my 2010 E63 AMG, and we've been through a lot with this car on the channel. So in order to give it a proper goodbye, let's recap. I bought this car in August of 2022, got it home, and immediately started making it my own. Added some AMG lookalike 20-inch wheels, blacked out all of the trim, blacked out the grille, repaired and repainted the front bumper, tinted the windows to the full Chris Sullivan Ray Charles spec, and just like that we had a beautiful pre-facelift W212 E63. With the cosmetics out of the way, it was time to take care of some of the common issues that the M156 has, including the cam adjusters. So I dove in head first and did everything. I did the updated head bolts. I rebuilt the cam adjusters with 6.3 Motorsports adjuster plates. I did all brand new Black Series lifters. I took care of all of the common M156 failure points in one shot. And after that, the car drove beautifully. With the reliability taken care of, it's time for some mods. Seeing as this is my daily driver, I didn't go too crazy, but you know we had to do some long tube headers and a tune, which really woke this thing up and more importantly, made it sound absolutely insane. And that's pretty much where I stopped. This was a perfect daily driver for me. It was fast, loud, and obnoxious when you wanted it to be, but also cruised quiet and comfortably. It was the perfect daily driver. And that continued till January of 2024 when I was on my way to the airport. Car started misfiring, got so bad to the point that I had to pull over and leave it in a random neighborhood and Uber to the airport so I didn't have to miss my flight. I've had issues with long tube headers with O2 sensors before, so that was where I started, figuring it would be a quick, easy fix. Quickly came to realize that that was not our issue, dove in a little further and found that we had misfires all over bank 1. So I started swapping injectors from bank to bank, coils from bank to bank, even spark plugs from bank to bank. Nothing seemed to be resolving the issue. I removed the intake manifold and took it completely apart, looking for the common cracking that you find on the M156. Didn't see anything, cleaned it up, put it back together, still no change. Telling myself that it was preventative maintenance, I did 8 brand new Bosch injectors and 8 brand new NGK Iridium spark plugs, no change. After a while of chasing my tail, I eventually got frustrated and ran out of time before a vacation and dropped the car off at the Mercedes dealership and said, "Here's everything I've done, call me when you figured it out." They called about a week later and said that it was the camshaft adjuster solenoid, which I doubted, but I said, okay, go ahead, do it. Of course, that didn't fix it, at which point I realized they were just guessing as well. So I went and picked the car up with them recommending new cam adjusters, but with no actual data to show that that was what was. Even the dealer couldn't figure it out. At that point, I kind of got frustrated with the car, let it sit for about 8 or 9 months in my driveway before I came back with a little bit of enthusiasm and once again dove in. And this was unfortunately more of the same, more chasing my tail, more looking at data on the laptop, not being able to make sense of it. I rebuilt the cam adjusters probably 2 times, checked the engine timing multiple times, everything was fine. I even had my original ECU checked by an ECU specific company and had them send me a completely different ECU, neither of which resolved my problem. Took the intake manifold apart again, and for peace of mind replaced the throttle plate, which commonly cracks. I replaced the solenoids, covers, and cam sensors on all of bank 1. Nothing was changing the issue. At that point I got frustrated. The car had been sitting in my driveway for about a year. I hadn't driven it at all, and I knew that if I unplugged the cam solenoid, the car drove perfect. After driving the car for a year with the cam solenoid unplugged, I finally got the motivation to tear back into the car. In that time, I had some time to think about why the misfires were only on bank 1, and I remembered that early in the E63 series, I had replaced the front cam bridge. Seeing as it was the same bank that the misfires were occurring on, I decided to investigate a little further, and lo and behold found that the clearance between the cam bridge and the cam was excessive, which I figured could cause low oil pressure to the cam adjuster and therefore cause a misfire. I sourced a few new cam bridges, found the one with the tolerance that closely matched what I believe was the factory spec, installed it, and after 2 years, the misfire was finally fixed. I think I can confidently say that this is the first time this car has cruised at 2,000 RPM with all the sensors and solenoids plugged in 2 years. With the car finally 100% mechanically solid, I could dive into the cosmetic things that I'd wanted to do for years. Starting with restoration of the headlights, completely new lenses and completely rebuilt those, and then an extensive paint correction and ceramic coat got the car looking absolutely perfect. In my mind, the car didn't need anything else at this point, and I just drove it and enjoyed it. That is, until my CTS-V showed up, and that brings us to today. We'll talk a lot more about what's happening, but wanted to give you guys an update. But we gotta move fast because the shipper for this car is on the way and hounding me about when he can pick this thing up, and I still wanna give this thing one last wash for the new owner. And if we have time, I'd love to reinstall the catch can that I took out. Have that beautiful 6.3 Motorsports catch can that I took out when I was trying to diagnose the never-ending misfire issue with this car. But now that that's solved, I think it's worth putting that thing back in and then collecting any other extra parts we have for this thing and getting it ready to go down the road. So here we go, guys. The last time we're gonna be working on this car on the channel, at least for now. Who knows what the future holds? Oh, getting back there is always fun. So if you guys remember, the PCV positive crankcase ventilation valve on the M156 is back here under the throttle body. Well, actually, it's right here. It's this, but the connection is under the throttle body there. It's completely blind. There's a tube in the way. It's kind of a pain, so I'm just gonna struggle through it. We'll connect this thing to that, then this to the other side, and we should be good. So let's just do it. All right, lots of finagling around back here. Got the PC. I forgot that you don't actually fully need to remove the PCV. Only reason I had to do it last time was because I was replacing the PCV valve, but you leave the one on the intake manifold, or the block rather, connected, and then you just put the catch can basically between
the PC valve and the intake manifold, and then it comes over here to our mount, which I still need to secure, but all these lines are gonna run up nicely there. Let's get it all back together. Catch can install, not that exciting, but it's just the way we like it. Motor sounds great. Unfortunately, the transport guy is already waiting for me, so let's give this thing the fastest wash ever and go and meet him. Sad day. Now, owning a German car is great. It's got all of the latest features, all of the high-tech stuff, all of the creature comforts you could ever want. But unfortunately, as a guy that works on his own car, that means it's got all these modules and a lot more stuff that can go wrong. Thankfully for us DIY guys out there, the sponsor of today's video, Carly, has got us covered. Carly's an OBD2 tool that fits in the palm of your hand, just like this. Simply plug it into your OBD2 port. Hardest part of the Carly install is finding your OBD2 port, ironically, which is, you'd think after all I went through with this car, it would be easy to find. Boom, plugged in. Then, like everything these days, just pull out your phone. Simply open the Carly app and click connect. Boom, now we're connected, so let's go. Health status, moderate. Could be better, 24 issues found. Thankfully, it looks like most of these are communication errors and things of that nature, and I think that's probably because this vehicle has been parked for like 4 or 5 weeks now, while I've been daily driving the Lightning and the CTSV. Carly also offers a used car check, so I've owned this car for a while now, but if someone like the guy that's buying this car wanted to make sure that nobody had ever tampered with the mileage, Carly compares the mileage and VIN information on every single module in the car, make sure that they all match to make sure that there's been no mileage tampering. So if you guys are gonna own a car like this with a lot of modules, a lot of things that could go wrong, or really any OBD2 vehicle and you wanna be able to diagnose it, you're gonna wanna check out Carly. Plus, if you guys use my code, you're gonna save 15% on the purchase of Carly. Get started diagnosing your ride today. Now, let's get back to getting this thing ready for sale. Oh, there you have it, guys. The fastest last wash ever. Transport guy is hounding me right now though, so let's hit the road and go meet him. Woo! I am gonna miss that. I am gonna miss the bark of this M156, but of course a bunch of you are probably asking, why are you selling the Mercedes? If you've been watching for the past couple months, you know that I got that 2017 CTSV pretty cheap at the insurance auction. And kind of at the exact same time, or right before that, I fixed the last couple issues with this car. The major misfire issue that I was fighting for years that ended up simply being one of the cam bridges. Did a complete paint correction, completely restored the headlights. And I drove it for a few weeks and it's been absolutely perfect, which is awesome. But as the channel continues to grow, I'm finding that if I can't make content on cars and I'm busy with other stuff, then things tend to just sit, and that's exactly what happened to this car. Is it sat in my garage for the last 4 weeks or so. And as much as I'd like to keep everything, it just doesn't make sense for me to have 2 high horsepower 4-door black sedans right now. The Cadillac still needs some work. I still am gonna make that my own, so there's still some work to do there so I can make content on that, daily drive it when I need to. This thing, however, I've got it exactly how I want it, and that's pretty much it. The other big part of this is I've owned it for 4 years now. That's a long time for, you know, a car guy. Some car guys switch out their cars every 6 months or a year or whatever. I've had this thing for 4 years now. I've had my fun with it. I absolutely love it, but it just might be time to move on to something else. Thankfully, it's going to a viewer of the channel. He's in Michigan, so I have been going 100 miles an hour this morning. The guy paid for the car yesterday, and like an hour later, the transport guy was like, "Can I come right now?" And I was like, "No, I still got to reinstall this catch can. I got to wash this thing. I got to make sure that it's ready for the new owner." And so he said, "Fine, I'll be there first thing in the morning." I had plans last night, so I couldn't work on it at all last night. But this morning, really quickly, slammed that catch can in. The car is running great right now. Washed it. It's immaculate inside and out. It is ready for the new owner, which is exactly how I would like to deliver cars to a new owner. I don't want to give him a car that's dirty. It wasn't even that dirty, but I wanted that first impression off the trailer. I want him to fall in love with it. So unfortunately, I was hoping to have time to do, you know, more driving of this car, give it a more proper farewell, but this is what it is, guys. The transport guy is here. He's waiting. So this is the end of the line for the W212. I know a lot of you guys started watching the channel probably because of this car, and you know, there will be more Mercedes content coming. I have a huge love for the M156, for the big V8, true AMG cars, and I can assure you this is not the last one I'll own. So stick around, lots more good stuff coming. Let's load this thing up, and we can talk about what I sold it for, what's next. Yeah, you're good. Yep. There she goes. My ride's here. Time to mail the title. Boom, new daily driver. Wasting no time, we're gonna get right back to work on my 2017 CTS-V. If you guys watched the last video, you know we spent some time painting and blacking out the front end and a couple trim parts on the rear. All that's really left now is this main trim piece here, which I was waiting on some wider trim to get to the back here. Even if I wanted to leave this, it's just seen better days. It's all faded, it has like pitting, not pitting, but it's just discolored, doesn't look great. So we're gonna black that out. I'm still undecided if I'm gonna leave door handles or not. I kind of might like just a tiny little bit to break it up, but we'll start with this, see how it looks. Gave the car a quick wash, black car in direct sunlight in the middle of July, so, you know, arguably now looks worse than it did, but hey, at least we know there's not actually, you know, dirt on it. Just a bunch of water spots now. But yeah, here's some wrap for the front doors, and then some thicker stuff for the rear doors, 3M gloss black, and then I've got a little bit of a surprise here in this box. Mercedes is on its way to Michigan. Let's get to work on my new daily. Right here, we've got some overnight parts from Japan. And by Japan, I mean China. This here is a Alibaba steering wheel. Carbon flat bottom steering wheel for the CTSV. If you guys remember when I bought this car, I probably shouldn't have even been touching the steering wheel. I finally went to clean it, and it was the most disgusting thing that I have ever seen in my whole life. I was ashamed that it wasn't the first thing that I did was clean it. I was able to get it 90%, so this was an option for this car, suede or Alcantara steering wheel. But me personally, I really don't think that Alcantara belongs on high touch surfaces, especially steering wheels. Your hands have always got some sort of oil on them, which is exactly why this thing was so gross. So I knew I wanted to do something. But you guys also know me, I didn't want anything over the top. You know, you can get these with like flashing LED lights and carbon shift paddles and just, you know, way over the top. I really just wanted something simple, but that was going to be leather and carbon fiber so that it's good for everyday use. So here's what I went with. I went with the flat bottom, glossy carbon on the top and bottom, and then black perforated leather on the sides with like a titanium or silver stitching, which I think should match this interior perfectly. Now, you can go through some, you know, we'll call them reputable suppliers out there and get a carbon steering wheel like this. Again, pretty basic one for between $700 and $800, which is fine. But really all they're doing is ordering it from China. So I just went direct, Alibaba, said, this is what I want. This is the car that it's for. It's got lane keeping assist and it's a heated steering wheel. And they said, yep, no problem, $380. And 2 or 3 weeks later, I don't remember, this thing showed up and it looks absolutely spectacular. So about half off if you want to deal directly with the person that's making it. Might try and get a set of wheels like that for this thing too. That seems to be all the rage these days. Anyways, let's get this steering wheel installed and call this thing done for now. Oh yeah, trim is done. Always got to refine my wrapping skills, but came out pretty good. There's this one seam right there, but came out perfect on both sides, actually. Front and rear trim, but I think this is it, guys. I think this is the look. I think I'm digging the orange side marker with a little bit of color on the badge, all the blacked out window trim, and then just leaving the door handles. Just the door handles, I think, breaks it up just enough. But obviously we could easily wrap or paint those, so let me know what you guys think. Boom. The perfect little OEM Plus touch. Steering wheel is installed, very easy install. Obviously just take everything off your stock wheel and transfer it over. You guys will notice that this full piece was carbon from the Alibaba seller, but I drilled out the plastic rivets that held that piece in. I wanted to keep the V part. This, you know, so it separates a CTS V from a regular CTS or STS or whatever, as far as the steering wheel is concerned, is this little guy right here. So I wanted to keep that. It matches our black buttons up here. Now we've got the V here on our mats there with some color, and then of course the Cadillac crest right there. This thing feels awesome. The perforated side grips feel great. I've got a very similar wheel in my Lightning, and I absolutely love it. So I think this really goes well in the interior. The carbon matches the carbon accents, you know, that would have come from the factory. You guys know, of course, these are just cheap eBay ones, but still, you know, I think it matches well in here. It doesn't look out of place. It's not too over the top, but it is so much better than factory. I think I'm going to love it. It is just kind of loosely put in here right now, and that is for two reasons. One, I'm still waiting for this to dry, the epoxy that I used. And the second part is I need to figure out how to wire the heated steering wheel. Here's the factory wheel back in the box. This is the connector, obviously, for the heated function. There's 4 wires, 2 red, and then a black and red. And there's 4 wires that come out of my new wheel, but they don't match these colors. So I think I'm going to email the seller, see if they can give me some guidance. If not, we'll break out the multimeter and figure it out. Or if any of you guys know how this heated steering wheel wiring works, be sure to comment and let me know. But yeah, super happy with the wheel. I'll just get that, you know, connection done real quick. Bolt the center thing up, torque it to whatever that torque spec is, and we're done with the interior. Got the Recaros, got those beautiful floor mats, got all the modules back together, custom carbon flat bottom steering wheel. It's immaculate in there, absolutely immaculate. It's a perfect daily now. Of course, it's gonna rain right after I wash this thing, but oh well. It's not like it didn't already have water spots all over it, but she does look really, really sharp. Oh yeah, waiting on my new vanity plate as well. Some of you OGs from the Cobra world might remember I had something like that back in the day, but we'll talk more about that in the next video. So here's the new daily. What did I sell the E63 for? Well, I bought it back in 2022 for, I think, geez, I don't even remember, I'll have to look, 22 or 23 grand, and obviously I put a lot of money into it and a lot of time. Well, I say a lot of money, it wasn't a ton of money. Most of that Misfired issue was just time lost. Me working on it, tons of time invested, but there wasn't any terribly expensive parts that I put into that issue. Big ticket items were the long tube headers, the wheels, tires, you know, the big brake upgrade, things like that. But the advantage, of course, is I got to make content, got a lot of new followers, a lot of new subscribers, and you guys really seem to enjoy the process. So yeah, on paper, not including YouTube, I definitely lost money on that car, but at the same time, not that much. If I was to have gone out and bought a brand new Hyundai or something as a daily driver for the last 4 years, that thing would have lost 50% of its value, 75% of its value, who knows. The Mercedes, I drove a V8 Mercedes every day for 4 years, beautiful car, and sold it for 4 grand more than I paid for it. That's not gonna happen with most cars. So, it is what it is, guys. I sold the car for $26,000. I was originally asking like 29, but at the end of the day, I think 26 is fair. This car was really hard to price because there was a bunch around that were like 15 grand, but all of them were just clapped. They were like 120,000 plus miles. Some of them had tan interior, which some of them already had mechanical problems. They were just, none of them were like mine, like mid mileage, 70,000 miles, immaculate, clean title, all of the M156 issues taken care of, head bolts, cam adjusters, lifters, you name it, I did it. So I couldn't find a single one that was like that. So I didn't really know where to price it, but I ended up selling it for $26,000, which I think is a great deal for the buyer. I think it's a good deal for me, and he's gonna have it as a weekend warrior. It's gonna be just his fun weekend car, which it's a great daily driver, and it's created just busting around on the weekends too. The thing's fast, it's loud, but it's comfortable. You can, you know, still run errands in it. But the last video on the Mercedes is gonna end with the Cadillac in the background because the Mercedes is probably halfway to Michigan at this point. So thank you guys as always for watching. Don't forget, new merch is on the website, tank tops, hats, shirts. Check all that stuff out, sullivan-co.com. I will catch you guys in the next one.